I'm sure most of us are familiar with the popular saying, show, don't tell. It's a policy of storytelling that says that showing the audience the story is much better than outright telling them what's going on. I find the 2016 PlayStation 4 game, The Last Guardian, to be a perfect example of this policy. There will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't played the game or watched a playthrough of it, I recommend doing so before continuing. Let me start by saying that The Last Guardian is my favorite game of all time. Of course it's not perfect, no game is, but today I want to discuss one of the things that I love so much about it, the storytelling. The game centers around two characters, the nameless boy, who the player takes control of, and Trico, the giant feathered companion of the boy. This duo is the perfect way to set up a story of showing rather than telling, and here's why. Trico is an animal and cannot speak, and while the boy can speak, his dialogue is kept to a minimum, except to give out hints to puzzles or to say little things to Trico. For instance, when the beast plays in a puddle, the boy says, "Oh, I thought you didn't like water." Because there's so little dialogue, all of the emotion is captured through interactions. For example, after every battle, Trico becomes greatly unsettled, and the player must pet him to calm him down. The simple act of us, the player, choosing to help our new friend by giving him a few rubs on the head to soothe him, creates a bond that grows stronger every time it happens. And as the game progresses, the time it takes Trico to settle down becomes shorter and shorter. One of my favorite instances of petting takes place after the battle with the other beast, when Trico is lying at the bottom of a tower, wounded and unable to move. In every single playthrough I have seen of this game, including my own, everyone immediately pets Trico without hesitation. What's interesting is that petting him is actually the only way to progress the game. Doing so triggers him to cough up the mirror that you lost earlier in the game, which allows you to gain access to the various barrels sprinkled throughout the room. What I love so much about this is that there are no hints or clues telling you that you must pet him. Everyone just naturally does it because it feels right. We want to comfort the friend who has been there for us every time we needed him. In fact, it feels so natural it never even occurred to me that the player is required to do this until I read about it in the game's companion book. Petting is just such a heartwarming mechanic to have, and I love how it's used here so much. Now I'd like to move on and talk about two particular scenes that make this game truly special. They are my favorite scenes in the whole game. They're so incredibly powerful, and not a word is spoken during them. The first one takes place fairly early in the game. The boy and Trico emerge into a large open space where they must cross over to the next area by walking across a bridge. Seems simple, right? Not exactly. This bridge is very old and very rickety. Before actually getting on, the boy must push away one of the glass eyes that Trico is so afraid of. He does so with relative ease, but now he is stuck below and cannot get back up to his companion. So, he commands Trico to leap across the gap, and after he does so, the beast prepares to catch the boy. So, the boy leaps, and everything goes into slow motion as we tensely watch Trico catch him before placing him safely on the bridge. Up ahead, there's another glass eye that the boy must dispose of, and he does so. However, a rope attached to the eye catches on the bridge, tearing away the structure. If the boy doesn't get off, he'll fall to his doom. Trico notices and readies himself to catch his small friend once again. So the boy leaps, and yet again everything goes into slow motion, and everything is silent. But Trico misses. Then, as the boy falls, Trico lifts up his tail, and you suddenly realize what's about to happen. The boy grabs Trico's tail, the music swells, and Trico runs and leaps off of the collapsing bridge. What a great moment! So much intensity and emotion in just a few seconds. This is a turning point in the pair's relationship. A certain trust that has been slowly building throughout the game has been solidified in this one moment, and nothing needs to be said. The way this scene is set up is an absolutely perfect way to show without telling. The next scene I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite moments in anything ever. It also takes place on a bridge. This is much later in the game when the pair has finally made it to the large tower that Trico has been pulled towards since the very beginning. The only thing keeping them from entering is, of course, the glass eyes that Trico is so afraid of. The boy is able to take a very roundabout route around the tower to make his way to the eyes. He pushes one off the edge and goes to dispose of the other one, but he is suddenly bombarded by an onslaught of mysterious symbols and becomes frozen, unable to move. Then a huge horde of guards emerges from the tower, wielding even more glass eyes. There is nothing we can do but watch as they grab the boy and begin to take him away. But then, the camera shifts to Trico, and we see him roaring fiercely, and then... He leaps across the gap and rescues the boy as the music swells. For the entire game, we have encountered these glass eyes all over the place. They are pretty much the only thing that can stop our feathered friend because he's so afraid of him. But here, he overcomes his greatest fear to save his beloved companion. This moment just fills you with happiness and love and relief and so many emotions. Oh, but it doesn't end there. The bridge they're on? Yeah, it's collapsing now. Trico has no choice but to turn back and run away. But there is nowhere to run. When he gets to the end, he begins to fall, and for a moment, everything seems lost. But then, it happens. Trico flies. He finally flies. And it doesn't even end there. He slaps himself into a tower, but he can't get inside to safety, so the boy must open the gate before Trico falls. Twice. And then it's finally over, and you can finally breathe again. This entire scene is just so powerful. It makes you feel so many emotions over the span of just not very many seconds. I was supposed to count how many seconds it was, but I didn't. Fear, relief, love, panic, amazement, more panic. Wow! This is how you show your players how far they've come. At this point, the bond between Trico and the boy is stronger than ever. You can feel the love they have for each other. It's the sweetest, most heartwarming thing ever. Gosh, I love this game so much. And by the way, I don't think I'm giving the music enough credit here. The soundtrack is absolutely fantastic, and the scenes I've just described would not be the same without it. So good. So yeah, that's why I think The Last Guardian is able to do such a great job of showing without telling. Like I said, this is my favorite game ever, and it felt really good to talk about it for a couple of minutes. I don't usually do this type of video, but it was pretty fun. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.